Dean,
Yes, hello.
can you hear me? I can't hear. Okay.
Uh,
Is one of the effects of this relationship we have with boundlessness, is that uh, some during our day, normal making choices, is the boundlessness have an effect on the way we look at our day and make choices and our patterns that we have to go out and live? Does the relationship we have, is it something that has that effect on our daily activity and choices?
well, what have you noticed?
I notice it does. I notice it really has changed the way I look at things and the way I the way I answer people. Just somehow it's different than the way I receive things. And is that a result of my relationship with the boundlessness?
What do you think?
Oh, I'm asking the
What else?
question.
What else? What else?
Question.
What else have you changed besides started doing this practice that might be that profound and that comprehensive in its ramifications?
I just have more of an availability
Mm-hmm.
to the softness of existence for me. I own that.
Beautiful. Oh, that's so beautifully put. The softness, availability to the softness of existence.
Is that
That's poetry. That's Dharma
that a
poetry.
result of this boundlessness I'm doing or
Yeah.
having?
I mean, one way to answer is, I don't know. I can't know everything going on inside you or in your life. But then the second answer is, fortunately, you're not an isolated case. Fortunately, people have been doing this stuff for thousands of years, and they all describe essentially what you've just said.
Oh, good.
Yes, because now you know how you've been doing it. You know it's been from your regular meditation practice. It's not because, oh, you started whatever, taking more vitamin X and then you have to take vitamin X for the rest of your life. Or it's not because the humidity has been low for the last 3 months, and as soon as the humidity changes, you're going to lose this lovely sense of existence. And also, what it means is that as you continue to practice and as the effects of the practice continue to percolate into your daily life, everything you've been describing is going to become more so, more and more so. So, as we say in Tibetan, Mazel Tov.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, congratulate. This is what the practice is all about. It's not just for having some, okay, 20 minutes we relax into some, blissful nowhere. Hey, 20 minutes of relaxing into blissful nowhere, a whole lot of people would give a lot to do that, or they should. They should be tearing down my door to get in here and find out about this stuff. Um, you know, um, a lot of people are on some version of the spiritual quest, the Dharma quest, the meditative quest. I consider us all to be extremely fortunate that we've discovered how simple it is, and that anyone can do it, and you can do it, within your own lifestyle, sitting there in your home in, Washington State, or, my bungalow in Santa Monica, or wherever you are. You don't have to go to a cave in India. You can go to a cave in India. I've done that. That's cool. But you don't have to, because it's so simple. It's so not dependent on anything external. But it changes your life. That's the whole thing. That's what it's for. It's for, because if we just had 20 minutes of sitting there swimming in bliss and then we come out and it's the same old shit, When, in fact, probably the contrast would become even more unbearable. But the thing is, the very same consciousness, the very same nervous system that's marinating in that boundlessness, it's the same one that then comes out into activity, the same one with which, right? It makes perfect sense. It's the same nervous system with which we interact with other
I
people.
didn't know that.
Yeah, we didn't. It's almost like you can't prepare for that portion of it. Like you're just changed. We were talking about that today. I'm just like, all of a sudden, you really do just see from a different
Yeah.
lens, and it's just
Yeah.
like you can't go back.
Yeah, you can't go back. You can't go back. The interesting thing is, if you go back, like if you go on my YouTube channel and watch some of these things we did when you ladies started with me a year ago, 2 years ago, whatever the hell it's been, you will discover that I've been saying this over and over, right? And this is not a knock on you, believe me. You cannot hear it until you get to a certain point of the clarity of the experience. And you go, wait, what's going on? Tell me about this. And then, I or someone or some book you read tells you, go, oh, wow. Why didn't you tell me before? Right. But absolutely, this is what happens. And oh, thank God. Thank God. And what happened, eventually it's the life in the outside, the life with the eyes open becomes so much like the life with the eyes closed that the life with the eyes closed is in a sense, in principle, we don't have to meditate anymore. Like what's the point? Why when I'm swimming in bliss out here with colors and shapes and people and phenomena, why close my eyes and swim in the bliss where it's non-phenomenal? But there are reasons we continue to do that. For one thing, it's really good for the physical body to settle into that deep quietness. That's very healing, really good for health and longevity. And, when you're living a life like this, hey, you're having a good time. You want to stick around for a while. And also, my teacher Maharishi was explaining this once years ago about why, even though at a certain point in principle you don't have to meditate anymore, but you continue to do it. And he said the main reasons are for that, for the health and longevity. And the second thing he said is to provide a good example for the others. Right? And you see how easy it could be to go, oh, well, the cool kids don't meditate anymore. Right? The cool kids, they're finding it out here. And, if you're still sitting, closing your eyes once a day, you're showing, what an unenlightened slug you are in the garden of Dharma. So, the Dalai Lama gets up at some 5 or 4:30 or something every morning and does a couple hours of meditation. So I figure if the Dalai Lama still meditates, we can still meditate.
Well, it kind of would be like music too. Like obviously put in like decades worth of learning piano, but I'm still practicing, of course, because I have to kind of keep it up, and it's a good reminder of how to do those scales fast.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. It's all like that. The other thing that happens is as you, and what you're describing there, Barbara, you're describing awakening. If you're describing, this is the lovely burgeoning of enlightenment. And if you want to know what is enlightenment like, what is the life of nirvana like, just exactly everything you just described, just, extrapolated to some kind of nth degree. Right? And that's what's happening now. That's the process you're in now. And, as Kristen said, there's no going back. I mean, here's an interesting thought experiment. If someone offered you $1 million to go back to where you were 2 years ago, no. So this practice, this free practice, by the way, just to point out, right? Worth a minimum of $1 million. So yeah.
Still waiting for the bill though, Dean.
Yeah. You should see the tab I'm keeping on you.
I know. I can only. I'm frightened.
Yeah, no, it's great. I love how did you put that, Barbara? Finding
wrote it
yourself
down.
being more available to the softness of existence.
Yeah, that was exactly it.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. And of course, if we look even deeper at that expression, existence hasn't changed, right? The nature of reality hasn't changed. It's what it is. So what is softened up is our consciousness, is our way of experiencing it. Our the style of functioning of our nervous system has become less. There's less grinding of gears. There's more. Everything's more soft. Everything's more superfluid. There's actually a famous story about this is one of these lovely Dharma legends about the king who discovers leather, and someone brings him leather, and he goes, "Oh, this stuff is nice and soft. You know what? I'm so tired of walking around on the hard ground. I'm going to get my servants to go produce a lot of leather and just lay leather all over the world. So wherever I walk, I'll be walking on leather." And his advisor says, "Well, good idea in principle, Your Majesty, but look, here's an easier way to execute it. Just put leather on the bottoms of your feet. We'll call that shoes. And then wherever you step, you'll have that softness." Right? So that's what we've done here. We've invented shoes. We've found, you say, oh, the softness of existence. Yeah, but what it is that it's the softness of the consciousness with which we're walking through it.
Very soft.
I love that too, because it's the idea of changing yourself rather than trying to change others in that component. John Cleese used to always say, "Those who can't control themselves try to control others." And I always like the idea.
Yeah. And that project of changing other people, how's that been working out for you?
I'm right on the cusp of a breakthrough.
Yeah. Let me know when it happens.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Dean, when I'm experiencing and working within the boundlessness that we've been working on, I've noticed the more that I'm involved in it, with letting the thinking things just pass by or be thrown out or just float by, or I notice that the boundlessness has a kind of a sense of softness about it, and I could probably put a better word to that, and it's like open and soft, and I it's really hard to find a word for that.
Yeah. It's impossible because the words all have edges. Words all have textures. What you're trying to describe is that which is infinitely edgeless, infinitely textureless. Right? Notice that when we try to describe it, like what just happened with me, is we lapse into negatives. The closest we can come to express it is to say what it's not. It's textureless. It's boundless. It's infinite. And it's timeless, and so forth. It's nameless. It's formless. Genderless. Right? In the Vedanta tradition of Indian enlightened philosophy, this is neti, not this, right? Tell me, Guru, what is the ultimate? What is Brahman? What is Brahman like? Is it like a cup of coffee? No, not this, neti. Is it like a microphone? No, neti. Is it like, right? You go neti. You do that enough times, and what you're left with is Brahman. What you're left with is the infinite. Right? After everything else is negated. And then you can go the other way, which is you say, well, it's everything. That too. Because it turns out that everything is that nothing. Everything is that formless nothing expressing in different forms. Right? All those experiences, every experience you have, the sound of your cat putting scratching in the litter box, right? The feeling of your head hitting the pillow at night, the jangle, the jarring whatever of the garbage truck outside, the emotional jangling even of hearing the latest awful news on TV or internet or whatever. Even that ultimately turns out that all those different forms, all those different textures are expressions of the formless, textureless. They're all different waves of that one ocean. Because what else can they be? Right? What else can they be? So this is the progression we go through, right? We start off in life. All we know is the waves, right? All we know is the different phenomena. Oh, the good news on the radio today. Ugh, bad news on the radio today. Oh, this horrible sound of the garbage truck. This lovely sound of the Beethoven sonata or something, right? All these, we're getting tossed around in all these different waves, and we're looking for, where is some safety, where is some stability as I'm getting tossed around in the waves, right? I guess I better, right? What thing that we try to some degree that Kristen, you alluded to, maybe I can control all these waves, right? I can control them all. That doesn't work out well. To some degree, we can do that. We have to kind of manage our life, but for the most part, it's uncontrollable. So then maybe we hear something about meditation or spirit, or maybe just accidentally, just spontaneously, something happens and we settle down into some silence and we discover, oh, there's this silent ocean underlying these waves. Let me stay here. But then I got to come out again. And I'm back to this same old crap again. Let me go back. Close my eyes again. And I come out. Go back, come out, go back. Right? You do that enough times, and then after a while you start to notice, Barbara, exactly what you've reported today. Gee, coming back out is starting to take on a different quality. It's starting to take on more of all the noise of the world of waves is starting to more and more resemble the silence of the underlying ocean. That's what you're calling softness. That's just another metaphorical way to express it, which metaphor is all we can use. And I'm finding that when I come back to the world of waves, somehow my ability to navigate them has become more skillful. I'm not getting tossed around by them so much. I'm more, I'm hanging 10. I'm surfing the waves more and more, without thinking about it much. You notice that there's less thinking. Less, okay, if he says this and I do this and then that, less strategizing necessary, because, what we call this is the growth of, for lack of a better word, intuition. I'm not fond of that word because it sounds like some thing, and it's not a thing. It's just, we're just more tuned in. The more time you spend marinating in the ocean, the more you're tuned into all the movements of the waves as well, because they're the expression of the ocean. You're more at home with all of it. You're less, it's all less foreign, less hostile seeming to you, which is another way of expressing what you're calling softness. Right? And so, if that process continues for long enough, eventually, no matter what's going on in the world of waves, we're simultaneously resting in the ocean of silence that underlies it. And then we're good. Then we're home free. There's still one more level of awakening to take place, which is because we're still talking about two different things simultaneously, right? Ocean of silence, non-phenomenal, boundless, and all the waves of phenomenal boundaries happening. So the one further phase of awakening is the more and more we're perceiving both of those things simultaneously, the more clear it starts to become, oh, these waves are actually nothing but the ocean in expression. There's only, and this is why we call it Advaita, non-dualism. The ultimate reality is non-dual. It can't come down to two things. When Einstein, in Einstein's time, he was looking for what he called unified field theory. He knew intuitively everything had to be the expression of one thing. In his lifetime, they got it down to four things. They got it down to the four fundamental forces. This is on the physical level. Four fundamental forces. What is it? Gravity, electromagnetism, the weak, what is it? Atomic or subatomic interaction, and the strong interaction. And so in his lifetime, he never got down to the one. He got it down to four. Since then, I think they've gotten it down to three or two. The physicists, but he knew it just is philosophically. It just seems impossible for there to be two things or three things or 10 things that everything comes out of. It's got to be one thing. And in fact, actually, it's no things. It's zero things. Which is what we experience in meditation. It's the no thing. Just nothing, as my teacher said, it's just nothing, but there's something very good about it. And that very goodness is what more and more you're encountering in your daily life. Hallelujah. As we say in Tibetan, actually this really is Tibetan, the kind of Tibetan victory cry, the cry of enlightened victory is imaho. When you realize that, oh wow, all this is that, it's EMAHO, imaho. Okay? Good? Good. Thank you so much for that lovely report. You've made my day.